First, as we start, the picks and bans.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Zed on the ban screen because Bjergsen has been wrecking people with it. The Cinder ban makes a whole lot of sense. A little surprised that it's on the blue side, actually.
Good call.
Because we've been seeing a lot of that being picked by the blue side team to avoid the counter pick coming in from the red side team. But it really seems like LMQ has their eyes on Bjergsen as far as these bans are concerned.
Yeah, throwing it right down. They're not afraid to say what they are thinking. Like I said, one of my favorites is that teams will just kind of put anything out there in the first game. You got 5 games to go, possibly, and really anything can happen. Most of these matches as well between TSM and LMQ throughout the season were above 30 to 40 and 50 minutes, so they could easily go for 50-minute games here.
It was a little bit strange watching these guys play during the regular season because LMQ came out with so much fast early aggression. They would get a 3,000 or 4,000 gold lead early on in the game.
Yeah.
And then TSM would never really try and get it back. And they would just slowly get a larger and larger gold deficit until LMQ would just end up winning the game. So TSM will have to do something a little bit differently, especially in the early game plan, or have to change their mid to late game play style against LMQ here.
Very interesting.
Maokai was not banned.
No.
I wonder if we'll see it picked early.
Nunu's taken out, especially by LMQ. Amazing has been picking that up recently and increasing his champion pool, something that was criticized much throughout the season.
Amazing played a fantastic quarterfinal.
Yep.
The pick ban trading here will be really interesting if this Rise ends up getting locked in. Something a little bit unique about LMQ in the pick ban phase is when they're blue side, 50% of their first picks end up going top lane, the highest in the LCS. Which would tell me, even though this Rise is a flex pick, there is a decently large chance that it ends up going.
What kind of advantage does that give you?
It just basically shows that Ackerman is a reliable guy. He also picked up Gragas before the rest of the LCS did, really. And
yeah, we could say that.
The way the top lane meta is right now, you can pick a lot of things that don't necessarily have strong counter picks, and they just put them in the hands of their reliable player.
And Ackerman, not like many other, is one that will try to 1v1 you in that top lane, has the potential to, and most of the champions he brings to the table. See Lost Boy, of course.
I mean, someone's going to stop Lost Boy from playing Nami eventually, right? He played it in all four quarterfinal games. Even when TSM had Glebe, it was TSM's favorite support.
Still trying to throw it.
Oh, man. Enough about Nami. That's a really early Yasuo pick.
It's not the first time Xiao has done that. Now we're seeing something that he can synergize with for the knockup, but he is not afraid to just continuously blind pick for himself.
Yeah, well,
wow.
Looking at the pick and bans, it's a bit safer of a Yasuo pick than you would normally see.
Okay.
Syndra, Zed, and Rise are all actually pretty good picks against Yasuo. They're all gone at the moment. They've picked Rise for themselves, and Syndra and Zed are banned. So actually, even though it kind of seemed like LMQ was banning out Bjergsen, they were also banning so that they could blue side pick Yasuo.
Very interesting. Really wanting to get under the skin here, and Bjergsen wants to see the rest of the team before they even give him something. Zillion instantly locked in, and the Tristana as well. That's going to be big. Last matchup was a 10-0 for Tristana for Vasily, so he's going to be happy on that main.
These look like really decisive smart picks by LMQ.
They were instant almost.
It all just kind of came together right at the end. You know, there's no Tristana ban. I wonder if the Yasuo pick threw TSM for a bit of a loop because they picked it so early, and then no blocking on Trist whatsoever. A lot of confidence from TSM that they can get past with that. And I really wonder what the counter pick is going to be for Yasuo from Bjergsen's side. We haven't seen him on much Fizz, but it is one thing that can cut through the wind wall pretty well.
Yep. Seeing how it would synergize with the rest of his team right now. Just pretty much 2 champions in water.
Be a lot of late game carrying, yeah. The Nami Fizz synergy under the sea.
But yeah, it's kind of a runaround. They have a good fight squad. If they can get Fizz in there with a Mundo.
It seems like they're going to be going for it. They must just be adjusting mastery pages at the moment. Wow.
Fizz lock in game 1. That's when you got to get those tries in. That's when you got to test the waters.
You could say that for sure. All right, so Fizz is a champion we haven't seen much of in the North American LCS, but it's definitely been gaining a whole bunch of popularity worldwide. European LCS and playoffs and near the end of the regular season, there's many Fizz players that drew a lot of bans. Also in China, it's a permaban against certain teams who have mastered Fizz in the mid lane. So if it's something that Bjergsen has actually been training well, it is absolutely lethal. It's just not something that is common in the North American scene.
Be very interested to see how Bjergsen brings this one out. Like we said before, we haven't seen these two teams go at it for quite some time. They've had a lot of time to figure each other out. We'll talk a little bit more about that as the teams load onto the Rift. We're going to see who you guys are saying are going to win this series. Coming up, according to LOLesports.com, 64% of you are calling this one for TSM, so it's still very close. Even with pretty much the home turf, everybody's going to be chanting TSM today.
Definitely feels like home turf. PAX is always home turf for TSM.
Yeah.
Remember, though, keep sending the picks throughout. Tweet at LOLesports, the hashtag LMQ win or the hashtag TSM win. We'll be checking back on that throughout the game. I really am excited about this pick and ban phase, actually. Just because...
Tell me why.
I'm not even sure yet, right? It's just the way the teams came together. Like, the fact that LMQ stuck to their guns with the first pick of Rise for the top lane like they usually do.
Yeah.
They actually banned around a pick for themselves instead of almost banning against an opponent, which is something you do not see very frequently from teams. And then LMQ just put together so many synergies on their team because of that strategy, being able to combo the Trist with the Yasuo and then still getting a Zillion. It's impressive.
Very impressive team fight they can be putting together. We'll see if LMQ gets what they want. Like Dyrus said, the thing that they're best at is also their weakness, is kind of not caring and always going in. TSM wants to take advantage of the mistakes when they're always going in. Let's see if they can get that off in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, you would think Dyrus wasn't making much sense when he said that, but it actually does.
It makes sense.
Makes sense for that one.
Their craziness, it's good and bad.
The Cleaver War.
Yeah.
Took a little bit more than he
I haven't seen this in a while.
gave right there. Yeah, defensive starts here. TSM actually didn't get much 2v2 laning in during their semifinals. Dignitas lane swapped him almost every single game.
Even from that red side.
Which was actually very interesting, or a curious choice to me, because the TSM duo lane throughout the regular season did not perform well in 2v2s.
Right.
Wild Turtle was almost always behind his opponent in CS. And Vasily, in this case, is usually ahead of his opponent in CS.
Absolutely.
Which would make you think that LMQ wants the 2v2. The other wrinkle we have in here is the Zillion versus Nami matchup. It's one of actually the few matchups where Zillion doesn't do well recently. Nami can actually win that one if played just right. So I really want to see how that 2v2 unfolds.
And Lustboy, he's on his favorite. He's got that main, like you said. Now it's going to be 5 games in a row across the board that he's played it. And we're talking about Vasily and more. How much kind of respect that TSM gives them. Throughout the season, they have an 80.6 kill participation from that bottom lane, starting things off and getting quite a few kills and momentum for the team.
And you can see a nice little clever move there. Moore put down his ward with his early trinket, went back, bought a sweeper to start the laning. When that cools down, he'll be able to sweep a little bit. Also a really, really aggressive summoner spell choice by LMQ. Oftentimes when you have a Trist lane, since her explosive shot holds healing reduction, you don't see the support also take Ignite. So very limited defensive options from this bottom lane of LMQ. If TSM is able to get aggressive, LMQ won't have much to keep themselves alive.
Well, they're already trying to get the push right now and hopefully create pressure in this bottom lane, and they can just harass Turtle with those bombs under the turret. This is already what they want, and they can get that level 2 fast. So good on them in the bottom lane. We'll see if Moore can really make things happen and keep the vision. They give a lot of respect to Lustboy. When he came onto the team, that was kind of their focus. That's the change that TSM could have needed, and LMQ consistently says that.
Yeah, it's the underestimated thing from Zillion as well. The global experience boost that Zillion can grant the team, meaning all the solo lanes can also hit level 2 a little bit sooner than normal. Will give LMQ slight edges in these lanes, but this is the featured matchup we're really going to be looking for. Bjergsen versus Xiao Zhao, how that ends up playing out.
So far, not too shabby. Obviously, they're not going to get any pressure at this point, but Xiao is the guy we said has been going for the 1v1 kills. May not be able to do that with the safety that Fizz can provide for Bjergsen. And we were talking a little bit about his kind of mentality change throughout the season, being able to focus on the mid game, but now he's the strat caller. He's the one that doesn't focus on those kills. Let's see if it actually affects his assassin play here on Fizz.
Well, he's definitely been getting back to Assassins in scrim play and has drawn multiple Assassin bans. And he had some pretty spectacular Cinder games their last set against Dignitas.
Absolutely. Slow movement up here. TSM seems to have
the gank!
But they don't have the vision in the brush. Simple brush control. Wow, coming up with a bomb for first blood. That is absolutely huge. Flash down as well and heal for TSM.
Wow, just not the best overall map awareness there by Lustboy. He basically walked straight into the brush, and that was one of those situations where if a jungler's there, you die. If a jungler's not there, you gain a little bit of lane pressure. So as far as risk management goes, it's not a smart brush to check, something that did not happen at all during this quarterfinal match against Dignitas. Lustboy played pretty much flawlessly.
Yeah.
Makes the first mistake of the series, however.
Great control, LMQ knowing where they need to put the first bit of pressure on. And it looks like they're going to be all right. TSM knows they're going to have to play this one very safe now and get that farm up. See where No Name's going to be heading after this. See if he feels that pressure in the bottom lane was significant enough to try and go for a pre-6 Mundo gank in the top lane and get Dyrus shut down as well.
Yeah, that would be a pretty bold move. Ackerman seems to be holding his own pretty well against Mundo. That's going to be a farm trading matchup. Both those top laners scale quite generously. The main thing that will have to be tracked still is the mid lane between Fizz and Yasuo here. I want to see really the first item buys, whether Xiao Xiao is willing to just go with the Avarice Blade right off the bat, or if he tries to pick up a Zeal for a bit more combat effectiveness. Depends on whether he wants to get aggressive in the lane or if he's just trying to farm it out. Against Fizz, though, if Fizz starts to get a lead on you, Fizz will completely kind of shut you out because the vast amount of kill pressure that happens there. Although there is a gank approaching.
Didn't hear any pings out of that. He actually stayed out of vision. Xiao Xiao keeps himself safe. We get a little bit of roam here from Moore. He's going to try to get some forward wards in and start helping LMQ. Make sure they don't get any counter ganks here from Amazing on the backside. They want to pressure that bottom lane. Already a pink ward in the Tribal.
We'll see if LMQ's vision control can start starving out TSM here. This is actually what pretty much led to all of TSM's defeats to LMQ in the regular season. An early game misstep and then never being able to recover against LMQ. They have to find a way to recover here. Otherwise, the LMQ early game will continue to lead to victory. Another one of those face checks!
Whoa, he just walked through the ward. Mord ate that and forced the flash there. A little bit of miscommunication with the vision that they actually had. Great job by Amazing to just keep it going through. They gain a bit of ground back in that lane. They're still down those summoners, though.
Super close right there. If Lustboy would have been able to queue up a bubble for that, they would have been able to secure a kill, but luckily the flash got in just at the right time.
Look at the damage match. 2 pickaxes by the AD carries the bottom lane. Oh, more damage. Ardent Blaze just missing as Vasili's forced to jump away. Looks like he's going to go home on this one.
See that pickaxe to pickaxe from AD carries. However, a Lucian pickaxe is much more valuable than a Trist pickaxe early on. Just because Lucian has a lot of AD ratios on his spells, whereas Trist does not.
Yeah, that was a really good choice. Coming back, giving him the 1-2 pop and really be able to win the lane.
This is just really bad timing. Bjergsen just recalled.
Actually, Xiao Xiao's moving up as well, so whether he
has to give it up.
Wraiths out of this too, and then he's even going to put
Reed would be
on
the thing that would kill Amazing right here.
Oh, they're having a party now. Three's a crowd. Ackerman joins in. Level 6 is between those top laners, and No Name. Looking to get a little bit of that experience. Does grab the red. They're going to be out.
Nice movement there by No Name. Will be able to deny Amazing that buff. Also a pretty critical juncture for Amazing. That would have given him level 6 and his first evolution on Kha'Zix. But he's going to have to wait a little bit longer for that now.
Yeah, that was pretty beneficial for No Name. Amazing missing the smite a bit and a just quick sonic wave to steal out the red. He has his smite still, so they can go down to the bottom and maybe pressure that lane and have a nice dragon early. Be kind of risky though. Seems like TSM sees that.
Xiao Xiao actually farmed so well on Yasuo, he didn't have to back until he could pick up the Avarice and the Zeal.
Wow.
Almost was able to farm out for a full static Shiv, but not quite.
And Bjergsen says, I want to be able to return that damage as well. Sheen coming out and trying to dodge a bit of that damage in what would be a Zhonya's.
Yeah.
Not even trying to attack, they're just going for the farm there. Could have had a quick UN out for harassment.
When they decide to fight, you'll know the damage will come out. but they're respecting each other. And also they're respecting the jungles really heavily right now. You can see how far away the wards are in that mid lane. Jungle approaches could definitely happen if they engage each other. I think that's the main thing stopping them from fighting each other right now, is the general lack of jungle vision. Fizz actually runs into an Ackerman, but he gets away.
He'll get away just fine. Talking to Crapo earlier, saying Lustboy is a huge provider of vision for the team. Really kind of picked up a different level of that. So once these guys in the bottom lane of TSM can get out, Lustboy can start to provide that. Maybe they'll have a bit more control over objectives, those forward wards that can really start to pay off in vision later in the game. Slow movements toward this dragon though, Jat. They're still somewhat looking at it, and Xiao would be a huge factor to fight in this one with his item threshold.
More hitting level 6 here is very key for LMQ. The chrono shift from Zilean is really critical right now. Also, Lustboy just chunked down a mana potion because he's having a little bit of trouble keeping up with the bomb harass damage, but because of the mana potion, he was able to sustain up Wild Turtle. I really wonder if we're going to be seeing that dragon shortly. Because of the blue buff steal, Ackerman was able to get his own blue buff, which is really helping him in the top lane against Dyrus.
Also going for the tier, getting more damage out of that, but these guys are looking for the late game. They're not afraid to kind of lose pressure in the lanes that are on the outside. Bottom's already got a few kills. No Name has himself going, almost up to his item as well. So very close by the junglers. Amazing's done a good job to keep himself in, even though he's been denied that red. We have not seen him yet, though. He did start to come out big in the previous match. Saw against Dig.
TSM had a lot of big plays in that series, but even then, they were saying they just do not play the same on LAN as they do during scrims. And the same may be evident here. They just do not seem to have a huge amount of decisiveness. They want to try and get Xiao, though. He burns his tornado, yet he's able to just walk away. Potentially killing the dragon.
Fish goes on. There's the exhaust, but the damage is going to be from Amazing as well. Xiao tries to dash back through. This is crowd control coming in. He throws his own ultimate down. Can Ackerman capitalize on this kill? Yes, he does. Dyrus has also come in. He will not be able to get a kill off of this, but they are able to somehow disengage the fight. Vasily could be getting hit up here. Big moves coming in. Great turnaround. Wild Turtle waiting for the chrono shift to go down. He's trying to focus the damage in the correct way, but No Name gets in his face, and he's going to make it even harder. Dragon's Rage back to the wall, and they are now so split. Lustboy doing what he can on the back line. Dyrus has enough time to come down to the bottom lane now.
What an escape right there by LMQ. While everything was happening, they managed to get the dragon and then escape the collapse from TSM because of the ultimate from Zilean and a sneaky escape right there by Vasily. So what seemed like a good start for TSM getting the kill turned to disaster. So they get the dragon. Immediately Vasily jumps in, and a really nice tidal wave cuts across too. But then the chrono shift goes on, so Wild Turtle doesn't want to finish off Vasily. Unfortunately, Vasily continued to charge, so they have to proc it. And now it's all about Turtle being out of mana and LMQ continuing to chase. When No Name pushes Turtle back right here, it actually gives Vasily a way of escaping from Dyrus. He gets the kill, which resets his jump and allows him to hop away from the Mad Mundo, which adds a 2,000 gold lead to the side of LMQ.
Very quickly falling in LMQ's favor here. They usually do not let go of a lead. TSM was saying that in the early game. If they get the early lead, then that probably could be the game. It has not been stopped here in game one. So big plays coming up. LMQ being very omnipresent and controlling their teleports well on that one. Dyrus trying to go coast to coast, who does lose a bit in the top lane, but he's been up in CS, so they don't lose too much out of that. However, that dragon, very big for LMQ. TSM has the timer, so we'll definitely see another fight going down at Dragon. And it looks so close. These fights looked like it was going in TSM's favor a lot, but the disengage from LMQ there was great.
So one of the things that happens with Zilean, he just turns fights around. The teleport from Ackerman as well to get the kill back on Amazing was really key. Potentially losing control of this game a little bit from TSM's side.
Has to be playing on their minds. Things that don't go right one after the other like that definitely gets a little tense. Still see Infinity Edge builds coming in from both Wild Turtle and Vasily. That's going to be helping Wild Turtle. They can still fight. But it's the Zillion and the bombs that are really changing that lane. We've seen Lustboy have a bit of trouble, as we said, trying to sustain this lane. chugging mana pots still up here to level 7. And looks like it's almost a bit of a freeze here. It's like, come up, let us bomb you, and then we'll go.
Yeah, level 7, 4 more. Gives a lot of bomb damage from Ras, but Wild Turtle,
that damage.
If he gets up into his grill, can do a whole bunch more. The bombs, though, they're going to try and turn this one around. Remember, they still have the Zillion ult for when someone gets low.
Back and forth, the bomb went on Turtle as soon as the tidal wave came out. A little miscommunication on when they wanted to kill. A flash in, he gets the buster shot, the bomb, there it is. That's the reset, but they're not going to go any farther.
That is some nice 2v2 play by Vasilian Moore, knowing their limits and knowing the turnaround potential right there. That's why they want this 2v2 right there. They're playing it well, and they're at the level where they are strong. Remember, there's still a Zillion ult right now, so this gank from Amazing didn't use the ult.
Did not. Just gets himself right in range. Quick bite, takes him down. Very nicely done.
That's one way of doing it.
Just use the flash. Why not?
Just kill him before he reacts. Was he low on mana or something? It seemed like he was all right. No, he still had enough mana to ult himself on Zillion. He just
didn't think he was going to get the fast flash.
Or he didn't want to burn it, but...
Well, it's a good job by Amazing to be reactive here. Yeah. Definitely something needs to be done right now with this 2,000 gold deficit. And it will help if he can get big and really participate in these dragon fights and not be a squishy Kazakhs. Xiao 164 to 140, keeping consistent in him versus his opponents. They're usually down in CS by the 10, 15, and 20-minute mark, and that has not changed for Xiao in the mid lane. Such a staple player, and pretty much, for not saying anything, he can lead the team with just his plays.
Yeah, his mechanics in the mid lane definitely lead an advantage, which makes shot calling much easier.
Yeah.
When your mid laner is always ahead, for some reason the game's just really easy to call.
It's like there's no pressure anywhere.
Yeah.
Minute and 30 left on Dragon. That's where TSM's hoping to find that headstrong play from LMQ and really take them by surprise. We already seen Wild Turtle able to put out some good damage. He's focusing more damage as well. He didn't get the critical cloak. He started going for the brutalizer of what would be in his Ghost Blade because it's going to help in the lane.
Those bombs continue to chunk.
Yep. Little
Wild Turtle right here, and they got to be careful that the same thing doesn't happen again. This time there is some junglers waiting to run into each other. Sweeping out the ward may stop this counter gank from happening altogether.
Trade of skill shots. Junglers get out, but they both know where each other are, and this is pretty much going to be a mill about in the bottom lane with the next 45 seconds on Dragon. Vasily knows he has enough time to back. It's good to document that. 45 seconds, go back, and he's back to Dragon.
Yeah, both teleports up. Darius really needs to hit level 11 for a more powerful heal on his ult. TSM wants to get vision control over the Dragon area, but it's very expensive to go and get that at the moment. You can see very limited vision from LMQ, actually. See if they can sneak in there to get some supremacy here. The key thing is LMQ knows they're ahead, so I think they're banking on the fact that they should just be able to group and go if TSM starts the Dragon. But vision would be what TSM needs to try and sneak back in this game. Landing a nice shark from Fizz or a bubble over the wall could very well turn the tides here.
You don't say. Oh, it looks like... Whoa, speed up, going straight aggressive. He gets him on the jump. No name baby.
Oh, he didn't do the right ward jump.
He's going to go ahead and get the kick. He knows it can activate the last breath. Lustboy's going to be going down, and they are focusing what would be that vision provider for TSM.
Or they just rush in, burn 2 ultimates, and get an easy kill before the tidal wave can even be used. I don't think TSM decides to contest this one without a tidal wave or disengage.
Such a great game so far for LMQ. More 2, 1, and 2. Great kill participation.
They're looking aggressive. How much poke can they actually get down here?
Vasily could shut down. Turtle could shut down Vasily with the damage he's got right now. They decide to back off. That teleport comes in. Amazing. He's going to be left going. He gets the Rune Prison, though. That's going to cancel out any of that movement that he gets, and LMQ just goes ahead and walks that one to the home plate.
That is just an old bad habit right there by TSM. It seemed like they were not on the same page whatsoever. Half the team wanted to turn, half the team didn't want to go in. You could see that by the dueling teleports from LMQ and TSM. Dyrus canceled his, it looked like. Ackerman completed his. Amazing had not retreated because the communication either came in last minute or wasn't communicated, and it leads to the death of yet another TSM member and a big gold deficit.
LMQ's not going to be letting go anytime soon. See Dyrus still trying to pressure the top lane here, and he's not gotten much. 1-0-1 as Ackerman's gotten kills off of rotating around the map, so no lane is really feeling overpressure here from LMQ.
I mean, this is just a 3v4, but TSM thinks they have enough poke from the Kha'Zix and Lucian that they can go in, but the wind wall actually shorts the fish. That's why it wasn't able to go. When the Fizz ult hits the wind wall, it won't kill it, but it will stop right at the wall, which means it couldn't connect to Xiao. That flopped the initiation, which was then turned around by LMQ because of the teleport.
Turtle actually tried to summon her heal Amazing out of that, so they lost that too right at the end of the fight.
Yeesh.
All these little things just taking against TSM cannot be helping the mentality as well. Best of 5 though. This first game could really just kind of be in LMQ's hands.
Let's see how much damage they get down.
Oh my god. No. Obliterated instantly. Enough slows and crowd control to lock down Dyrus. He'll be getting hit up here. They may actually find Bjergsen in that time. Very nice flash over the thick part of the wall. Dyrus makes that count. Bjergsen can stay in mid lane.
Just way too much damage dealt in that 2v2 for Amazing to deal with. Perfect timing on the counter gank from No Name right there, and now it just seems to be going from bad to worse. None of TSM's lanes are doing well right now.
No. And LMQ is making sure that stays. Mana for days with a Chalice and Tier in the bot lane. Bombs keep coming out, keeping TSM under the turret. Bjergsen's not getting a roam on that he can get Vasily or more as they're always at the turret. Great pressure by LMQ all the way around.
Yeah, it was an explosive shot max by Vasily on his itemization. You see a lot of Trists only go 3 or so points in explosive shot, but I feel like because of the bomb harass as well as the explosive shot, they want to just max harass damage, and they're getting these long extended fights, so it's ending up to work better for them. And he's getting pretty far ahead of Wild Turtle and items as well. Infinity Edge and Zeal. It's right around the time when Trist starts getting her power back over Lucian. 6,000 gold is just a very, very strong performance from LMQ in Game 1, all the way from the pick and ban phase. The 2 early bans, the early rise in Yasuo picks, TSM not being able to come up with sufficient counter matchups, and just great counter ganks throughout by No Name.
Very focused on Bjergsen. That's kind of somebody said, why not in the last match they just get at least Syndra out of his hands? He's too much of a force with anything, and they throw him back on maybe a 6th champion, a 5th that he hasn't played in a while.
Exactly, they put him onto Fizz. I don't think he's probably practiced that much Fizz because you don't see that many bans and picks targeted away from Bjergsen's champion pool. It's not like he's performed poorly either, but he's just not being able to dominate the lane, and by conversion of that, he hasn't been a larger threat if he just gets followed by Xiao. And TSM is getting a little bit bullied on all facets of the map.
Yeah, it almost works against...
Well, that's Baron for sure, because Darius is teleported down to the bot lane for a gank.
Oh my gosh, no map control over Baron. TSM is really just trying to claw at anything they can get right now. So far it's Vasily. LMQ more is going to go down. They pick up 2 kills, but they may not even notice because the bus won't show. These guys are going to pop out into lane with a surprise.
Yep, so just a nice move there by LMQ. You could see TSM had absolutely no presence in the Baron area. 2 kills is not the worst thing that could happen for TSM, but still having Baron on Ryze, Yasuo, and Lee Sin, plus the Baron gold, definitely gives that trade towards LMQ.
It's not the first time they've taken a 22-minute Baron game. Just saying, just before that engagement with now Bjergsen having to consider mid, now having to try and play that assassin potential, his shot calling is kind of dwindled there. He's got so many things to think about in this game now. And now it's going to be top lane, and LMQ is going very hard into Dyrus. They bring a 3rd one for the party this time. It's enough to take him down. They're going to be able to grab the turret. There's a method to this madness.
Absolutely deleted up there. Rod of Age is being completed on Ackerman. He's actually going a little bit defensive early on in his Ryze build just because they have so much damage with this team comp already. Xiao shredding through Dyrus with that Blade of the Ruined King. They make really short work of TSM's main tank.
That is quite interesting. Ackerman knows. He just wants more. So the 2 static shivs are going to continuously push in TSM very hard as LMQ moves themselves up to the front door.
Sorry.
I thought you were ready. I was giving it to you. 8-4 here, 23-45. I don't see this one being in TSM's favor. Something's going to have to happen. We had some crazy games yesterday. Definitely mistakes that can be made, but LMQ is really not the team to be doing that. 41.2 to 33.8. Headstrong for the victory here. Might be even under 30 if they can get a really good fight. This Baron's going to keep it strong.
It definitely seems like LMQ is going for this sub 30-minute win here. If they can just keep on going, 7,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
Strong tanks going in. Willingness to initiate. Complete dragon control. Everything kind of on the way. At the moment, it looks like Xiao can be a split pusher if he wants to. No one really on TSM can deal with him right now. It seems like maybe Bjergsen if he lands the right combo because of the Zhonya's to maybe ward off some of that damage. But as far as a straight up 5v5, TSM can't touch LMQ.
No, not at all. And like we said, that came from picks and bans. It was a game where LMQ selected whatever they wanted, even though they saw things on the side of TSM. They really weren't giving any care to it. Not giving any care to these middle turrets either, and they're going to be on the inhibitors only 24 or 25 minutes in. TSM set up the last bit of wards that are going to give them safety outside their base.
Yet they're still not able to defend these turrets. They're trying to get some split push going down from Dyer's, but this puts them at actually a pretty big risk because they're at the teleport disadvantage right now. Ackerman could teleport in and Dyer's would not be able to match, which could create a 5v4 dive for LMQ if they really decide to get aggressive here. Not the game one TSM was hoping for.
No, absolutely not. We're talking to Reginald previously, definitely stated that these scrims went a lot better. But teams also say that LMQ won't give you a scrim you want. They won't give you something that shows them what they have.
LMQ is notoriously bad in scrims, and whether that's something that just happens from intentional play from LMQ or whether it's just the fact that they don't necessarily know how to take scrims seriously. It's not always an intentional thing. When you're in a high pressure situation versus a low pressure situation, how you perform is up to the individual. And TSM is a team that we talk to their opponents. TSM's great in scrims. They're probably the best team in North America as far as their performance. They don't lose best of fives as far as what they've been practicing for the playoffs. Yet when they played against Dignitas, they were saying they play way worse in that series.
Yeah.
Far worse. And then coming into today, TSM was saying if they can just play like they do in scrims, win no problem. But they only play like they do in scrims about 30% of the time.
Right.
Whereas LMQ gets trashed on in scrims. But as soon as it gets to the LCS stage, it's like they're a completely different team.
Very interesting way to play the game. Maybe they feel like they just have such an upper hand on their opponents due to that aspect. It gives them the edge to feel like they can play confident, because that's the style they bring all the time. It's pure confidence. Just set up a wind wall and let me dash in front of your turret. These guys are not afraid to go in. Wild Turtle's going to be hit up. That's a bomb that he can't get away from. Bjergsen throws down the Zhonya's. It doesn't even chump the water.
This is a great fight for TSM, though.
Out the ultimate. Xiao getting hurt. There's the exhaust going down. He's actually able to take down Xiao amazing, doing a great job. So, there it is. Ackerman and the team go in a little too hard, and it starts to bite back against them.
Wow, so TSM gets a 5-for-1 ace when all is said is done, and they get the kill onto Bjergsen. TSM was down 10,000 gold before that fight, but the dive just went completely pear-shaped. I'm pretty sure we'll have to see that again. Bjergsen hit everyone in that fight because the wind wall was burned early, so there was nothing to stop the Shark, and I think he wrecked them right there. So yes, they do get the catch on to Wild Turtle. No Name jumps in, flashes behind Wild Turtle. They delete him right off the bat, but the question is, what do they burn? The turrets on No Name. Watch for Bjergsen and the Shark. So he basically deletes Vasily before anything happens. And since the ultimate was burned on just a single target of TSM, the damage was actually gone there from LMQ. So not a very well orchestrated turret dive, keeping TSM in this game. Whew. That was very unexpected.
Very unexpected indeed. LMQ going a little too hard. That's their sub 30-minute win they were looking for, Jet. Not something that they executed correctly. So a flaw coming out here finally in the 28-minute game for LMQ. They have to reconsider now how these fights go.
And also remember that the Zillion ult pretty much wasn't a factor that fight. The damage came too quickly and it was too chaotic to actually land a priority Zillion ult. Now it's going to be about Baron and Dragon control. TSM doesn't have the greatest vision, and the catch potential from LMQ is still massive.
I got to see what happens when Wild Turtle's in that fight. He got canceled out almost immediately. Oh, he brings over the chum to water, so
what a bait!
Gonna be him.
What a bait!
Indeed, a bait it was. Dyrus is now in the middle of the fight. He's going to be protecting and peeling as Xiao Xiao goes in. He gets the back line to Lustboy, but they're all going to have to dash away. Bjergsen tries to go for the solo kills, but they all have too much focus on him from LMQ inside the river. TSM now turns face, and they're going straight for LMQ's top and bottom lane. Almost take out the silly. And it looks like it's going to be their turnaround once again. Who's going to be the one standing in the end of this one, though? It looks like the TSM bars as they continuously batter down on LMQ. A little bit of a lead is going a long way now.
A 4-for-2, a really split up fight right there. You can see the Zillion ult made them kind of forget about Vasily for a while, and he took him down. If they get this Baron, though, they may very well be completely even or even ahead in this game.
Chad, it looks like they just turned the lights out on LMQ, not seeing these engagements come in, a little flustered in the engagements. We'll have to see. Game one definitely proving to be pretty
How quick can you get this Baron
intense.
down, though?
That Baron quite low right now. It looks like it's...
Oh, man, the steal is a real opportunity.
Sonic Wave's on, goes in, stolen! My God, it was actually stolen by Vasily! Look at him, yelling to the team. They know what they just did, and TSM pretty much gives it back on a platter.
They just couldn't get that Baron down fast enough without their AD carry or the Fizz there. And just as LMQ's aggression puts them in a hole, it also pulls them back out. The willingness to just fly in and go for that Baron steal in a 2v3 or more.
It's LMQ. We got to remember, these are the guys that come back to fights one at a time, but can make it happen. Stopping Barons, taking Barons. It's consistently throughout the season, and they just do it perfect.
And now they're just tanking this turret up without minions, getting it quite low. They know Dyrus and Lustboy haven't revived yet. They get the turret this time.
Wow.
Does TSM try another fight? The inhibitor is getting up. There's the wind wall.
Good
Do they go?
Wild Turtles keeping
They're around the wind wall.
That wind wall, the Ackerman taking a lot of damage. He doesn't have a whole lot of army yet, just that Glacial Shroud up. It is very helpful. You can see Turtle didn't shred right through him. But man, they are considering these moments when they're in there. It is scary.
What a roller coaster of events right there. The words from Dyrus before the game where he said LMQ's greatest strength is also their greatest weakness could not be more true than they were just there. The overaggression gives LMQ the lead, takes it away, and then grants it right back. TSM still wants to find a fight, but that tidal wave is still on cooldown. TSM has proven that they can win fights if they get the right spell combos off.
Wild Turtle is definitely up in items, so if he can get those shots out, he will be dropping people. The wall's up, he is the man to clear. They're not going to have any trouble with that top inhibitor turret. LMQ is playing the waiting game.
So many ridiculously close encounters happened on the lead up to that Baron. It was nearly a clean ace from TSM, but they just lost Bjergsen and Wild Turtle from slivers of health.
Yeah.
And it ends up just at the end of the day giving LMQ the Baron buff.
It's so crazy. I think TSM just brought that back. LMQ already back on the doorstep, peppering another inhibitor turret here, keeping it to a practically 10,000 gold lead.
Yeah, this is tricky. Dyrus has gotten very low from the harass. Plus, if Vasily just tanks him with an explosive shard or more throws an ignite at him, he wouldn't be much of a tank at this point. But he pops the ultimate to push them off the turret for now. They don't have much longer, though. I mean, the move speed is now gone from Mundo. They have to use this culling for wave clear. Really good timing, clearing one more wave, allowing the super minions to be cleared at the base. TSM buys themselves much needed time.
Very intense. I'm expecting a tidal wave anytime from Lustboy as they go in here. Wait for that wind wall to be down so it just doesn't get countered. But it's because LMQ is going to want to just go under this turret if they don't get it right away.
It's a little easier to work around a wind wall than it is a Braum shield.
Yeah.
So the tidal wave should actually be able to land. They're using it right now, trying to get the turret down. If they can navigate around this, they're going to go.
So close to bubble, just missing Acumen. Nice sidestep. They lose the turret, and you can see that's the time a team tries to re-engage when the other team is not in position. You've been standing still, firing at a turret, but LMQ is already in the right positioning.
Notice a little bit more caution from LMQ this time around, but it's slowly working for them. Right now, Kazac's back in base. Dyrus ultimate still barely on cooldown. Second inhibitor may break the back of TSM. They're going to want to fight this before it goes down. Yet, one of TSM's Achilles heels against LMQ is the unwillingness to go in when it's not 100% fight.
Maybe Get that wind wall's down there.
Here they go, baby.
Watching Moore's ultimate. There is the tidal wave. That's what they wanted. Xiao in by himself, and he gets deleted. This gives TSM time to focus. 1 and 2. That's going to be No Name going down. The focus now into Ackerman. Beautiful job on the backside for him to get a kill over himself. And Bjergsen's going to stay alive here. One more bomb could definitely be bad news bears for him, but it looks like they're going to be able to get that one down. Bubble Trouble is the name for that kill. And
oh no,
is on the base. Look, see what was happening during the fight.
You can see TSM waited until the last possible moment to get that fight. And a bit of a misplay there by Xiao, extending beyond the range of more Zillion ultimate, eventually led to another one team fight for TSM. But boy, do they ever have their backs against the wall. They have to wait for their inhibitors to respawn before they can pretty much do anything, because their base is wide open.
And you
I don't know if Ackerman can solo this dragon.
Maybe.
It hits pretty hard.
I'm going to give him a thumbs up and hope he can do it. We definitely saw that LMQ almost, they liked what happened there, but there was a bit of head shaking. There was kind of a small facepalm coming in as well. That could have been cleaner, and they know it.
Watch this. Xiao lands the tornado, and he's like, I guess he has to go, but it's only onto a Mundo. He gets eaten by an exhaust, and then Moore is down as well. And here, the ultimate gets used onto himself as he's getting jumped on, which just opens the door for Vasily to get pretty much obliterated right there. The debuff from Bjergsen is able to dot him out right at the end. So a really nice set of plays there by Bjergsen, charging in at just the right time. And he's turning himself into quite a threat. If he finishes that death cap onto Fizz, he'll be able to one-shot a lot of people despite this 10,000 gold disadvantage by TSM.
Get back to those team fights. Bjergsen really thrives, and he's the one to start to pull the team and put him on his back. Doing a great job right now. You can see the kind of vision that TSM has, just levering Xiao as he comes through the brush. TSM's gaining a lot of good ground here, but it's still 10,000 gold lead. And Vasily's on the other side. A rapid-fire Tristana is going to drop that Nexus after the inhibitors
Bjergsen
go
wants
down.
to flank. If he can start on anyone, great ward by Moore to stop that flank in its tracks.
Got that sixth sense.
It's all about the initiation right here. LMQ has went a little bit too deep on their last several initiations.
Ooh. Just waiting, seeing Amazing on the outside. He wants to try and add the pressure, but he knows he can't just dive straight in. There's way too much focus and distance from Team Solo Mid on their own side of the map.
Ackerman is so strong right now. You can see him just running around with that Zillion speed boost. It's like a monster that no one wants to get close to.
So big. Charged up on his rod. Saracen brace for him as well. Very consistent play from Ackerman in the top lane all season from LMQ as they try their hand one more time, Jat, here. Could be the final one.
I love the positioning from TSM here, though, how they're keeping their assassin threats around the side to prevent a front line from bullying through. But if Amazing gets caught like that, that's bad news.
He's forced to jump
ultimate
back.
Down.
They lose a bit of that coordination they have in the positioning. They know it's just one on the outside now, and they're able to run through the base,
oh, no.
forcing TSM to leave and try and back.
This has to be the fight. Mundo is behind them with Fizz. They're collapsing.
Here comes Dyrus onto the backside. He's got 4 members focused on him. Vasily can't do much. He gets hit right into the wall as well. It's going to be Amazing. Very low as he jumps out of the fight. What is spread out fight? So much focus to try and be used here. TSM coming out on top once again in their own base. Vasily very low with that red buff on. Whoa, Amazing goes for Brute. He gets taken down by No Name, but it will be traded right back to Lust Boy. The retribution kills are everywhere.
Look at the stress on TSM's faces right now. They are holding on by a thread. What is it with these game ones of these best of fives? They're always delivering the strongest games. Vasily lives. He is getting stronger and stronger as this game goes, and TSM's base is getting weaker and weaker. Both inhibitors down. No defending Nexus turrets. The Baron is up. Oh no.
Single plays.
Oh, Vasily!
The plays! You gotta be kidding.
He's gonna go for the Nexus.
He's got these turret waves.
He could go for the Nexus.
He doesn't even really, he doesn't need though. He's like, wait, there's turrets. No, there's no turrets. I don't need minions. I'm going right for the Nexus. Dyrus is not gonna be able to do anything here. Wait a minute. He's considering it.
Just
jump by him. Turn on the rapid fire.
Radwitz to slow him down.
Oh my gosh, he's actually gonna take him down.
Oh my god, this game.
Hesitates and considers. Dyrus comes out with the upper hand and TSM stays alive.
The damage of Mundo. He wants more. He's going to have to be a little bit careful. I mean, there's no defense for TSM's base right now. Vasily nearly single-handedly won the game there for LMQ. Now the Baron is up. This is an indefensible Baron for TSM. They have to be on wave duty. And they're going to have to win yet another fight at their base if they want to keep this game alive.
Wow. This is getting crazy right now. Coming up on 40 minutes, LMQ uncontested on their third Baron of the game. Somehow TSM rather, still keeping themselves alive. The last inhibitor turret in the bottom, I don't even think is in the eyes here of LMQ, unless they're saying, we want to force a fight, and you're going to have to defend this.
As long as the inhibitors are down for TSM, it is absolutely the right call for LMQ to run to the bottom lane. TSM is able to win 5v5s, as you can see with this team comp. As long as the Fizz is getting the right spells off, and boy, has Bjergsen been performing fantastically in team fights.
See this again.
We're going to take a look at this little Fog of War assassination. Just jumps and flashes to finish off Turtle. And then a red buff Tristana is no match for Nami. Just completely probably scaring the crap out of Wild Turtle right there. You win a fight 4-1, you're like, all right, why would a Tristana stick around as the only member of his team?
Well, it also shows how long TSM has been in their own base. It's completely dark, even right outside their wall. They've got a few pink wards down by the dragon, but that's only because they're trying to get a little bit back without losing the entire team.
Yeah, that is a great point. You can see LMQ just decides to leave the pink ward there for some reason. I was going to say, delete all the wards that TSM has outside their base. This is real trouble for TSM. They have to fight immediately, and even then the super minions would probably kill their Nexus. They need a miracle.
Yeah, Vasili's getting the speed up for the in and out. Dyrus on the home guards gets himself a little bit of Talisman of Ascension, and that's been stopped.
LMQ is doing the right thing. As long as they just run away, they know that TSM can't chase for long because there are no turrets or inhibitors to defend the monstrous minions coming into their base. There goes the final outer turret.
Always speeding up Vasili, making sure the Trist is safe. They're able to dodge the wave. No Name gets a bit of a ride there, but Dyrus is the focus. He's got grievous wounds, it wears off. HP's coming back from the ultimate. This is Bjergsen coming out of the Zanyas. Where's the damage? Vasili gets chrono shift, whether he goes down or not. He puts himself closer. I like the idea. He's going to be ready to start taking down even more. Game one, without a doubt. Back and forth through the middle, but LMQ finally puts their fall man inhibitor.
Both inhibitors respawn.
They're going to have to get this one. There's too many to be stopped, though. Turtle and Dyrus can only do so much. What a game. 41 minutes in, 22 to 21. LMQ finds the victory.
Game ones in these series, all throughout the North American LCS playoffs, have been fantastic. This one, no exception. TSM definitely had some legitimate shots to win this game, but if we think about the game as a whole, LMQ was in control at the start of the game. They were in control at the middle of the game. They overdove once, which nearly led to disaster. They had a bad fight in the mid game, but then Vasili and No Name kept it together under pressure, got the Baron back, and then just continued to power through. They never